Welcome, Leo, to your Leo September 2021 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those who are stopping by for the first time, and for the subscribers, much love and affection to you as always. I love to see you each month. Warms my heart, and it's great, and getting the correspondence from you and comments in the section below, all of which I try to answer pretty well, 99% if I can, depending on what else is going on. Pretty busy with readings, and of course I have done some readings for you, as I mentioned. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 cards, because haven't you found that 5 is all we need to find out what's going on? Because each of the cards, for some reason mysterious, seems to be completely full of information which is pertinent and absolutely important for you. So let's see what the cards are first, and then we'll see what they have to say. There is the Star card. Well, virtually there's nothing bad at all about that card there. There's nothing can be said bad about that. There's the 5 of Swords. Here we have the 10 of Cups. What is this one here? There's the 1 of Discs. The 1 of Discs, that would be the Ace, no doubt. I think some of the... Let's have a look at this one here. The 8 of Swords. Great. Well, why don't you now come down, sit down here next to me. We'll have a look at the wonderful original paintings on these cards together. We'll see what they mean while I do the reading for you. Now, can you see? Let me just move over a bit. There you go. I think that might be easier for you to have a look at them. Now, let's have a look at this first card out here. I think that this spread wants to have a conversation with you this month, and it is just going to be talking about issues for you to have in mind, I think. Here we have the 5 of Swords. Well, the first thing about the 5 of Swords is the number 5 itself, and with the number 5, I have a mystical association with the planet of Mars, which is seen as being a malefic. That is, that it's a bad planet. I don't agree with that myself, but most astrologers would probably say that. And they would also say, as I do agree, that it is very fiery. And in its lowest form, because it has different levels of energy for me, in its lowest form, it can be very aggressive, very one-pointed, very burn the crops behind you sort of approach to things. And I also have, from an astrological point, I have Venus. Venus ruling the 3rd decan of Aquarius. Well, Venus then is attached, is the planet, as you know, of beauty and love and relationship and business, among other things. And it is sitting here in the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius can have a detachment associated with it. Venus also runs into trouble with the fiery Mars here, and so we don't have any astrological harmony from my point of view. But that's not to say that this is a problem. In fact, many people would say that the 5 of Swords is a bad card. I don't believe that it is here for you whatsoever. Rather, this is a foundation, and it helps you to successfully battle what I would call defeatist thinking, to put that out of your mind. Now, like the warrior, which is in the image here, you can see there's the bow, there's his head, that's him down there, and there's his bow and arrow going away there. Well, just like him, you must aim at something beyond the dragon, and here is the dragon. Aim beyond it and hold on to that vision. The 5-pointed star, as you can see here, well, that has often been used as a symbol of excellence and power, and for warding off evil. It means all of these things here for you this month, as well as representing a higher truth. It is the higher truth you must hold to, even when you can't immediately contact it in the moment. Now, being in the suit of swords, one might say that there should be a focus on demons of the mental realm, of doubt, confusion, pessimism, defeatist thinking, and of course, it is easy to get lost in those things, isn't it? For example, nothing can drain us of motivation more effectively than doubt. This is what doubt often does. It stops you from moving ahead, from taking risks, from expanding. To be a warrior means to doubt your doubt. Pay no attention to it. Rather than automatically believing your doubting thoughts, you look carefully at why this doubt might be coming up right now. Why might it be coming up now? Now, the attitude of the warrior is to be true to truth, to your truth, to a higher vision, to what maybe even theologians can call faith. Even though you may be flooded by darkness in the moment, questioning everything, you can remember earlier moments of knowing and try to honor what your teachers and the ancient wisdom traditions have taught you. Another tendency of the mind, represented by the dragon, is the temptation, I suppose, to get caught up in power trips. Do you understand what I mean by that? Being in a position of authority and power over others is a great seduction for most egos. And isn't it that they say that power corrupts absolutely? It can make us feel big and important. It is also based, though, on the false belief that the more control we have, the safer we will be. And this is not necessarily so. Surrendering to a higher power often brings an umbrella of protection, as well as guidance about what is worth fighting for and how to most skillfully accomplish that. The star here represents the authentic power which the spiritual warrior aims for. Now, negative beliefs are also part of the dragon the warrior must slay. Do you want to have a closer look at it again? If at the core you believe you are impotent and your efforts are futile, that the world is withholding from you, or that you are somehow bad and undeserving, which you are not, these will undermine your actions in the world and make it difficult to claim your true power. Now, affirmations are sometimes used to trigger these negative beliefs so that you can challenge them. And you can then try them on a more positive possibility. I think the reason why this card has come up in that position there is because it's time for you to do battle with these negative tendencies of the mind, and everybody has them, so don't think that you're alone. Start by looking objectively at what is happening and ask yourself, are you caught in doubt or confusion? What old beliefs are holding you back? Conquer fear. Fear is about the past and about the unknown in the future. This is a time, rather than this being a bad card for you, to say, dig into yourself. You have what it takes. Well, now, what's on the same line as that? It's this card here, which is the Star card. And I think I might have said that there is not a bad side to this card. And really, for me, there is not. Well, in the darkness of the night, stars provide guiding light. And this energy represents guidance, not so much for daily life, but maybe for your soul's evolution, you know. In the picture, the light of this star is echoed in the candlelight which the woman brings into her heart. We might say that she is taking guidance to heart, or feeling in her heart for guidance. The warmth of the light stands in contrast to the wintry landscape. It reminds you that even in those times that you feel most desolate, that help is at hand. One way to describe this level of guidance is to say the guidance comes from what we call home and draws us towards itself. What could really more reliably steer us home than something that issues directly from home? It is as if this home naturally and inherently sends a kind of signal to you. Now, the astrology of this card here is that of Saturn ruling Aquarius this time, with Neptune exalted. Aquarius is all about the individual and uniqueness, and yet it has an overall humanitarian outlook. Well, the star shares these qualities in that it is trying to remind you of the divinity and uniqueness within you, while encouraging you to be a pipe for bringing down what will turn into your highest potential. This is about hope, crystallization, self-recognition, clear vision, trusting yourself. You've overcome this Five of Swords here in connection to universal intelligence. A new crystal clear vision lends form and purpose to that which a moment ago was only a vague impression. You gain a more penetrating view into the boundless potential of your development. The power of inspiration you receive gives wings to your soul and lets the apparently impossible become manifest in marvelous ways. You'll find that you will be fulfilled and inspired by life, and it's a reminder to follow your dreams, those dreams which give you the most inspiration. Be open to love and trust creation for what it brings. And encouragement has been given to you now that, although you have had testing times in the past, now it is time to move forward with renewed hope and live an inspired life that you can express yourself fully in. Let your star rise and stay in contact with the earth. Trust your environment and find ways to let others share in it. You'll be tested and recognized by the fruits you bear. Are you totally fulfilled in your present area of work? Check to see if you are doing everything possible to bring your ideas to fruition. And say to yourself, I am a radiant light being. I am a star that walks upon a bigger star. I see what can be of benefit to people around me. My creative powers of imagination and my connection to the all-encompassing consciousness show me the way to realize my ideas. Well, let's have a look at the card that's sitting in the middle, which is, ladies, you can go over there, which is the what? What is this? Oh, the Ten of Cups. Oh, okay, the Ten of Cups with the Star and the Five of Swords. Is that a One of Discs there? It is. Well, I think we can get the gist of what the energy is here then. Let's have a look at it. It's entitled Joyous Flow. Well, let me think here. In the picture, a woman floats, doesn't she? Here she is, this woman, floating in the ocean with a dolphin nearby. She is at home in the watery environment of the emotional and spiritual realms. The woman is not afraid to get wet and feels free in the undulating nature of her emotional body. Her flowing nature is mirrored by the dolphin, which represents a kind of right brain intelligence, if I can put it that way. You know, dolphins are playful animals and they emit healing energy. The seashell-shaped spiral that's sort of going around there, I think that talks about a feeling of comfort and represents also your unfolding. Now together, all of these aspects portray a feeling of contentment and mastery in the watery worlds of emotion and intuition, as well as with the dynamic flow which is inherent with this territory. Now, interestingly, even though the The different cards have different energies and they react to one another. But this is actually here. We talked about Mars before. Well, this time it's Mars in the third decan of Pisces. And what we will find here is, I think, for you, even though Mars is disruptive and it might be thought to conflict with peaceful Pisces, I think what we can find here for you is a great degree of satisfaction, of fulfillment, radiating things outward, an emotional stability, a happy family unit, and your dreams finally starting to become a reality. But this happiness that you have here could well be a moment where it's a sort of a fleeting happiness with respect to something. I'm just getting the idea of a happiness here which is short-lived and which has lost its ability to fulfill you. Now, I suspect that's probably relating to consumer things. You may have gone out and bought some new shoes or a new handbag or got a new cell phone or some new sneakers, and then you said to yourself, why did I do that? I don't like these things at all. I shouldn't have done it. Anyway, it's too late. And so you've gone out to get something that you think might make you happy, but then you get bored and you want to move on to the next thing. Now, in a relationship, this can relate to the loss of pleasure in what the relationship brings. Therefore, you either have to alter the dynamic of the relationship or move away from it. Now, I'm not a person in favor of moving away from relationships unless they have become toxic. I think always the work should be done to repair relationships with people and to leave things on good terms, even if you do move on. But what I'm getting this feeling here with this 10, I mean, this is the end of the suit. The cups has come through. It's full. It's full. The emotions are full by the time I get to this number 10. And it's as if you had a bucket and you turned a tap of water into the bucket. It could only go so high before it started to overflow into the edges. And so what you need to do is get a bigger bucket in order to hold the emotions. So you need to reconfigure the relationship in order to allow more satisfaction to come in. And then once you've gone through that process in good faith, then you may say, well, look, all right, it might well be time to go on. But what do? Well, I think you let things develop by themselves. Everything comes to you at the right moment. And I suppose you might ask yourself, what does this fullness of emotion mean to me at the situation? At the moment, in this current situation that I might be in? It's a great degree of emotional passion and vitality. But this 10 is unstable and it's going to devolve into the next suit, and then the energy will flow through next into the Ace of Swords, which itself is a good card, I might say. But say to yourself, maybe relax, close your eyes and breathe deeply and calmly, and let a picture arise in you which shows you in a state of complete fulfillment. Now repeat this exercise often and connect this feeling more and more to your reality, and say to yourself, because it is true, life gives me everything I need to be happy. Let's have a look at this 8 of Swords, is it? Well, this also is a lovely painting. What do we see here? Well, this looks to me like an old Islamic pattern of dovetailing forms that represents how expansion and contraction come together to make something. The interior forms each have 8 points, being for the 8, which I have associated with Mercury, I must say, which is about intelligence and messages and communication. And what we have here is that with these 8 points, there are 8 beams of light coming from the center as well. There is a temple in the hills under a night sky. Yeah. And the scene itself has a restful quality to it, I think. You know, in sacred geometry, the octagon, this talks about equanimity. Now, equanimity just means calmness and composure. That's what that means. I don't know why people use words that most people have never heard of. But In sacred geometry, the octagon, the 8, portrays evenness and stability. Now, in the mental realm, in swords, in part from calmness and composure, which provides the stability of not being thrown off center. Any strong judgment or emotional reaction can create a kind of static that interferes with the clarity of perception and evenness of the mind and the emotional body. The other thing to bear in mind is that this is Jupiter in the first decan of Gemini. Now, Jupiter, of course, is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is 180 degrees away, diametrically opposed, on the diametrically opposed side of the zodiac wheel when Jupiter comes into Gemini, and so Jupiter is going to be in detriment. And its usual feelings of power, exuberance, philosophy, expansion can be tempered a bit, but Mercury is here in its aid, and Mercury gets on very well with Jupiter, and so things will move along, notwithstanding the astrology of the card. Now, calmness and composure are the result of not getting caught in judgments that you make about emotional to's and fro's with people. It is the evenness that comes when you neither reject nor cling to the various mental and emotional states that arise. Now, I've got to say, it is the case that many of the interpretations given for this card and other decks involve states of mental contraction. Fear, resentment, envy, and doubt all involve a contraction, but I don't think that's the issue here for you at all. I don't think that is. I think that in this position, and in fact, generally for that interpretation of this card, I actually don't agree with it. But if you are sensitive enough, you may notice their effect, envy, doubt, resentment. You may notice their effect in your body. At other times, you may recognize contraction only after it has released and you find yourself in a state that is more restful, free, and expansive. Now, I think why this has come here is because it's asking you to accept contraction as being part of life and cultivate calmness and composure to help you deal with uncomfortable states. That's the real message of this. Calmness and composure are not an enforced evenness created by flattening out your emotions, not at all. Nor is it a blurring of perceptions. When you have calmness and composure, you are aware of your internal distress, perhaps, but you don't react to it as much because you have an evenness inside. And practicing calmness and composure doesn't mean that you never get ruffled. You can be totally triggered by an event and yet handle that turmoil with calmness and composure by feeling your response moment to moment and letting it go. You can put space around it and not get so caught up in the content. It is this breathing room that allows you to avoid reacting automatically and lets you decide what action is the most skillful in the situation. I would let things rest and develop on their own for a while. As long as doubt concerning these decisions remains, don't go for anything new. Jupiter is the harbinger of unforeseen and unexpected change for the better. The problem which you might think is unsolvable now will find its own solution in its own way. It could be that there is, in an overall situation, some difficulty in your mind about which is the best option for you to take at the moment. You could be having what I call analysis paralysis, with your energy scattered on endless productive thoughts. That's that Gemini aspect to it. So the solution is to take time out and do something different and let Jupiter then come in and do its work to settle things down. And then you can come back in with new eyes and ask yourself, what alternatives are you torn between now? Relax and let things develop. Say to yourself, I am relaxed and I trust life. That takes us finally, I think, to this one of discs. Now, what might we say about it? We can say this about it. Now, the meaning here, I think, is clear if you remember that discs represents the material world and that 1 is the number of beginnings. The 1 of discs is therefore about new beginnings in the concrete world of your daily life. And the egg is the perfect symbol for it. The egg includes both the seed of the new form and the nourishment that supports its development. Just as it's useful to have the clear awareness that allows you to watch a thought arise, it's useful to make ready a space in your life so that you can meet new relationships, roles, environments, things, or anything that manifests on the physical plane. You can then examine how the new form fits with the space around you, and whether it adds or detracts. Now, when you draw or are drawn to this card, as you have done now, it indicates the beginning of a new pattern in your life, or the need to clear the space for one. This is a good time to deep clean your house or your garden, or to let go of things you no longer need and take stock of current relationships and activities. Perhaps you are at a point of choosing a new living environment, a job, a routine, or some other form. New beginnings are important, and your readiness sets the stage for them to thrive. If you don't have a clear sense of what new manifestation wants to come into your life, you could try the following visualization, basing it on that. And it is, imagine a warm, dark space full of energy and new possibilities. The space itself has a holding quality, and as you focus more carefully, a nest comes into view. In this nest is an egg with new life growing in it. Watch as this new life goes through its stages, eventually cracking open its shell and revealing itself. See what it is that is manifesting. This is a time in your life when you're going to have a breakthrough moment, and you're going to feel inspired and motivated to move your life forward, and a big opportunity is going to open up for you. You have the possibility, because aces are about possibilities, to tap into your latent potential, and it's the perfect time to draw upon your imagination. What attracts you to doing it the most? What gives you the most pleasure? In what framework could you realize your dreams? And say to yourself, I express my energy and power openly. What a fantastic set of cards for you. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, what a fantastic month for you. Great to see you again, and thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure to be doing this with you. I do like that, and if you did like it, please do me the favor of hitting the like button. The YouTube gods like that, and it enables other people to maybe have a look at the video and enjoy what we enjoy doing ourselves. This is going to be a good month for you. I think you've got plenty to be looking forward to and things to do. So that has been food for thought, and you get together and remember this, and remember one thing always, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. So until then, it's bye for now.